We all finally got what we wanted. University of Colorado's Chancellor, he finally speaks. Welcome to episode 198 of College Football's Peek Around the Corner with your host, Greg Pflugar. We cover everything in college football because we love everything in college football. And if you do as well, please subscribe to our ever-growing channel. Smash that like button if you like our content. Share the video with your family and friends. Let's not waste any more time. Let's break down this interview. University of Colorado Chancellor finally speaks, and I need your help, PATC community. There's one paragraph, there's one half of a paragraph that I need your help in decoding what the Chancellor meant by it. And I also believe here at Peek Around the Corner, there's a hidden deal between the Pac-12 presidents and George Kliavkoff. Am I crazy or am I crazy as a fox? Put down your comments in the comments section like always below the video. Colorado Chancellor talks Pac-12 expansion. Big 12 rumor. Deion Sanders in recruiting by USA Today. Brent Schrotenberg, Colorado. As the Chancellor of the University of Colorado Boulder, Phil DiStefano is the boss of Coach Prime Deion Sanders. He oversees the campus, including the Colorado Athletic Director. He governs the Pac-12 Conference as one of the 10 members of the league's board of directors. He also has governed the NCAA as a member of its board of governors. So with all that power and oversight experience in major college sports, how does he feel about the notion of Colorado leaving the Pac-12 to rejoin the Big 12 or expanding the Pac-12 back to 12 schools? In short, DiStefano says he wants the Pac-12 to expand back to 12 schools. After UCLA and Southern California leave for the Big Ten next year, he poo-pooed the notion of joining the Big 12. DiStefano poo-pooed the notion of the University of Colorado leaving the Pac-12 to join the Big 12. But did he actually poo-poo that notion? We'll get into it later in the article. He said the hiring of Sanders in December already has been worth the investment and acknowledged that his football program was held back by issues restricting the admission of transfer students. Since those restrictions recently were eased for all students, not just student athletes, for all students at the University of Colorado this semester, he hasn't heard of any football transfer recruits who were denied entry. He also said he'd like to see the Pac-12 go for a 5-year contract in its new media rights negotiations instead of the much longer deal that it had in the past. Once again, we hear in this 5-year contract. If you were with us here in our last live show at Peek Around the Corner, we read the latest letter from our Arizona State Money Perch source, and he said 5 years, 5 years. He said that 4 different times in his short letter to us. So I think that's where the Pac-12 universities are heading in their negotiations. It looks like the 5-year deal might thread the needle. We shall see. Back to the article. Pac-12 negotiations. The league is seeking a new media rights deal with television and streaming partners that provide revenue to be shared with each Pac-12 member. The current contract with ESPN and Fox expires in 2024 and was a big driver in revenue sharing that now pays around $35 million per school per year. That's well below the revenue shares earned in the Big Ten and the SEC. But DiStefano said, here it is. Here's one of the money shots, but not the big one at the end of the article, which I think ties everything together. We'll get to that. DiStefano said, there's a very good possibility the next deal will bring in per school revenues ranking 3rd among the Power 5 conferences ahead of the Big 12 and the Atlantic Coast conferences. 3rd. There's a very good possibility. He also hopes it's a 5 to 7 year deal, like we mentioned before. 7 year deal. There's a very good possibility the next deal will bring in per school revenues ranking 3rd. Boy, that's a high benchmark. Woo! Can George Kliavkoff meet it? Everyone passed us up in revenue during that 12-year period after, he said. A shorter contract would provide flexibility amid a turbulent media industry that's been disrupted by internet streaming services. I think in 5 years, we'll get a much better feel for streaming services, said DiStefano. This is where I need your help, PATC community. I do not understand the second part of this paragraph. I want to understand it. I need to understand it. I wish I would have been the interviewer and asked DiStefano more about what he just said here in the second part of this paragraph. Here it goes. That's changing so much. He's talking about the streaming services. That's changing so much, and it's going to put us in a position to pick up some things that maybe we're not going to get at this point. It sounds to me, that first part of that paragraph, I think in 5 years we'll get a much better feel for streaming services. DiStefano is also saying basically, look, this streaming deal, it's not going to be a heavy streaming deal. This media contract. We need to get a much better feel for it for 5 years from now. So again, it's going to be majority linear, just like what Arizona President Robbins has indicated. But that second half, I'm fuzzy on that. That's changing so much. It's going to put us in a position to pick up some things that maybe we're not going to get at this point. In other words, in 5 years, they can pick up some really different things when it comes to streaming. I don't know. Let me know what you think about that. But I do think that first part of that paragraph, I think in 5 years we'll get a much better feel for streaming services. It's his way, the Colorado Chancellor, his way of saying we can't go too heavy on this streaming deal. Another benchmark, just like what Robbins said. Back to the article. Leaving the Pac-12. Without a new media deal in place for the Pac-12, rumors have swirled that Colorado might go back to its old league, the Big 12, for the sake of stability. Is that a backup plan for Colorado? Nobody asked us. I shouldn't even say that. We're committed to the Pac-12, he said. What I've said along with the other presidents and chancellors is we're not going to even think about going anywhere, none of us, until we see what kind of offer we get. And that's still being worked out, and I'm confident it's going to be fine. So once again, we have another Pac-12 president saying that none of us are going to even think about going anywhere until we see the deal. They're not saying we're not going anywhere. Definitely not going anywhere. They're saying we need to see the deal first. We need to see the deal first before we think about going anywhere. And then he says, I'm confident it's going to be fine. He's putting it up that he's being very positive about this. Again, though, that's the money shot comes at the very end of this interview or at the end of this article. He noted how the Big 12 only has one school in the prestigious Association of American Universities, Kansas, unlike the Pac-12, which has several, including Colorado. He also said Colorado has a far more alumni engagement at football games in California cities than it's ever had in the Big 12 cities. So Colorado alumni who live in California are more engaged in college football and Colorado football than the alumni living in Big 12 cities. I find that hard to believe, but that's what the chancellor is stating here. Pac-12 expansion. With USC and UCLA departing the Pac-12, the league has considered adding schools to replace them. San Diego State and Southern Methodist and Dallas are considered the prime candidates. And finally, the money shot comes at the end. DiStefano would vote on any expansion proposal. I'd like to have 12 schools. A big issue, he said, would be whether those schools would bring enough revenue and other benefits to the league to justify their getting an equal cut of the revenue pie. He noted that neither San Diego State nor SMU are AAU schools, which is important to the league presidents and chancellors in charge. On the other hand, San Diego State did really well in basketball. They have a new stadium in football, a good Southern California market, and Dallas is a good area for recruiting. He said expansion depends on the new media deal, which is getting close. Which is getting close, he said. To me, that's the money shot of the article, and I'll tell you why. I think that ties everything together. What the Colorado Chancellor said in this interview. He said he believes the deal is going to be very likely that the per school revenue of the Pac-12 universities will be third among the Power 5 conferences. That's what he's saying. He also says to me, he says, look, there can't be a heavy streaming deal. He said it in a different way than Arizona Robbins said. He also said, we're not thinking about going anywhere until we see the deal. None of us are thinking about going anywhere. But then at the end, he says, and the deal is getting close. The deal is getting close to being done. To me, that ties everything together. I think there's a hidden agreement among the Pac-12 presidents and George Kliavkoff. We're not going anywhere. We've given you the space, George Kliavkoff. Work out a deal. We're not going anywhere. It can't be a heavy streaming deal. The number has to be close to the Big 12. DeStefano's saying he thinks it's likely they're third in revenue. But the deal is getting close. He believes the deal is getting close, not months. When he says it's getting close, he's not saying months from now. He's saying it's getting close, at hand. So George Kliavkoff, no one's going to surprise you. No one's going to leave without you showing us the deal first. But you're going to have to show us the deal soon. That's what I think the hidden message is here. That's what I think the hidden agreement is here in the Pac-12. We've said here at Peek Around the Corner that these schools, some of them, and you know who they are, time's up. Time is up. It's ready. They need to see the deal. Now they've been talking with the Big 12. Of course they have. They're figuring out their safe landing spot if the conference implodes. Of course they have. They know the number that the Big 12 can give them. Of course they do. And now they need to see their number. So semantics. We're not going anywhere until we see the deal, but we need to see the deal real soon. He said the deal is close at hand. It's getting close, he said. That's not months down the road. That's like soon. Middle of May, that's getting close. Very interesting. And one other part about this, we're talking about semantics. The Chancellor of Colorado says, nobody has asked us, ... I shouldn't have even said that. Look, conferences do not ask schools to join them. Big 12 is not going to ask Colorado to join them until they know Colorado wants in. And Colorado is not going to ask for an application until they know the conference will accept them. All that is semantics. When you hear a report out there saying a school has asked for an application or a school has been invited to the conference, none of that really is. That happens like in the last seconds of the deal. No school is going to say, please, can I be invited? They negotiate, they talk. Does it work for both parties? And then the school says, we would like to be invited when they know that they're going to be accepted. And then the invitation is presented and it's a done deal. So when the Colorado Chancellor says, nobody has asked us, I shouldn't have even said that. Big 12 is not going to ask you officially to join their conference until it's all done, until the negotiations are all done and they know you're going to accept. So again, university presidents playing with the semantics all the time. It's not just the Chancellor of Colorado. Put down your comments. Put down your thoughts. Let me know. Let me know what you think. Is there a hidden agreement among the Pac-12 presidents in George Kliavkoff? No one is leaving. No one is leaving. But you have a certain date on the calendar that you need to get us a deal in front of us. According to the Colorado Chancellor, he thinks it's close. It's getting close. It's getting close. Not months down the road. Until next time. From all of us at PATC, to all of you, please, you all take great care of each other. Thank you so very much.